Welcome back. Turning now to that stunning news that broke while we were on the air yesterday. Republicans failed efforts to redraw Indiana's congressional map. The state's GOP-controlled Senate rejected a proposed map that would have dismantled Indiana's 2 Democrat-controlled districts. The vote coming despite mounting pressure from President Trump, who threatened primary challenges to any Republican who voted against redistricting. It is also a major setback for Republicans in the nationwide redistricting fight, which has already seen 4 states adopt new maps and efforts to redraw new maps underway in 3 others. Joining me now is one of the Indiana Senate Republicans who voted against the new congressional map, Mike Bohacek. Thank you so much for joining me, State Senator. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks for the time.
So take me back to that vote yesterday. You and your Republican colleagues faced a lot of pressure from President Trump. The vice president even traveled to your state to talk to all of you about this vote. How and why did your colleagues decide to vote against this redistricting campaign?
You know, we all had, I think, different reasons. Probably a big reason was just our constituency base didn't want it. And after they saw the maps and they saw how it was going to impact their districts and their representation, there was a pretty big outcry from I know my constituency was very displeased about it. I have my own personal reasons why I voted against it as well, as in addition to it just being very bad policy.
What were those personal reasons, State Senator Bohacek?
Right after Thanksgiving, I was sitting with my daughter. We were watching TV, and some of the comments that the president made regarding a political adversary, and he used a slur, to refer to handicapped people. And I have a daughter who has Down syndrome, so I took it very personally. And this isn't the first time this slur has been used. We know that by not only his own administration, but even members of his cabinet this past summer. And it just finally just hit a chord. We see how he speaks to the media, and that's up to certainly you folks to deal with that. But this was a chance for me to have my voice heard on this one particular issue.
It is extraordinary, State Senator, because many Republicans have been over time swayed by President Trump. For various reasons. They're afraid of getting primaried. They're afraid about the political pressure. They're afraid about just the pressure from within their own party. Are you concerned that there will be some type of retribution campaign, that you will be primaried, for example, the next time you're up for
re-election?
So
I just got through my election last year, so my primary season is over with. But for some of my colleagues that voted against this, yeah, there's a real risk that they could get primaried, and certainly the president and his supporters have sufficient and significant resources behind them to make that a very difficult process. But it's still not going to sway some of these folks because, look, they are traditional Republicans. They believe what they believe. They listen to their constituents. And they're not going to change their minds, and you're not going to bully them. You're not going to bribe or coerce them. It's just not how it is in Indiana. We're just a different group. And even my colleagues on the other side of the aisle stand just as firmly in their position to move forward with the redistricting. So, Indiana Republicans, we're a pretty stubborn breed.
What do you say to Republicans who may make the argument, this is about holding on to the House, and Indiana Republicans may have made it just a little bit more difficult for Republicans to hold on to the House? How do you respond to that line of argument?
Well, if you look at the maps, there's no guarantee of 9-0. I looked at one of the districts that actually would impact my own voting, and that district is not a guarantee our win. It's not. So there was no guarantee of a 9-0, and this is just one of those times that policy has to win, and this is bad policy. It's not something I want to do every 2 years, because that's what this could turn into, and it does not need to be that. We need to be more deliberative, and with something that's this consequential, it's very important that we are the deliberative body that makes sure that good policy moves forward, because like I've told others, your time in the Senate is very, very small. And once you're gone, you're forgotten. So you can't make this your identity, but bad policy stays forever.
Let me finally get you to respond to your Republican governor. This is what he had to say yesterday after the vote. He released a statement saying, quote, "I am very disappointed that a small group of misguided state senators have partnered with Democrats to reject this opportunity to protect Hoosiers with fair maps and to reject the leadership of President Trump. Ultimately, decisions like this carry political consequences. I will be working with the president to challenge these people who do not represent the best interests of Hoosiers." Have you spoken to the governor since the vote? Has your relationship with him been damaged?
I have not spoken with them about this specifically. They did call me and ask me if I would support the redistricting, which I honestly told them I would not. But the same governor also used his own political funds this past spring during the session to try to push forth a property tax plan that was very misguided and would have resulted in extreme financial hardships for our municipalities and our schools, which we ultimately were able to work through a better solution. Use his own campaign dollars for that. And if he's going to use his own campaign dollars to punish senators, because this vote is not coming back, you're just going to do that to punish them to get your pound of flesh. Why don't you invest those dollars, recruit a good candidate for the two Democrat districts that are in question, and push your money behind them and win this seat fairly, as opposed to try to punish my colleagues. But the governor could do what the governor wants to do, and let's be honest, he has political capital that he's lost within the chamber.
All right. It's just fascinating to hear from you, State Senator Mike Bohacek. We really appreciate your perspective today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.